إن شاء الله. وأمس أيضا كنا في مكة.
السلام عليكم مايما محمد.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. شكرا يا شيخ على الصور الحلوة.
الله يكرمك.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام سيدة ساندرا.
السلام ورحمة
الله وبركاته.
ما شاء الله.
السلام عليكم from London.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you? Ahmed, no light in your room.
I'll write it down.
Yeah, you got it. MashaAllah. Ahmed.
What?
Is listen, right?
شيخ فؤاد أي ساعة العشاء عندك؟
العشاء 9:15 إن شاء الله.
الشيخ حمد. نحن تبع لفضيلة الشيخ القصاص.
الله يكرمك.
الحمد لله إن شاء الله. تفضل برادر عبد المجيد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة
الله وبركاته.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today is Thursday, the 12th of Shaban, 1442, 25th of March, 2021. With the permission of all the shaykhs, my respected brothers and sisters, welcome to our halaqah. I have the honor and privilege to introduce today's halaqah number 367. Our honored speaker tonight is Sister Maissa with Sister Bisma. And Sister Maissa is blessing us for the 22 times. Today's topic is taking care of your mental health during COVID. Sister Maissa and the guests, please may Allah bless you and your parents for your presentation in this halaqah itself. Our honored reciter tonight is Imam Fawad al-Qassas. He's blessing us for 132 times. And we have Surah Muhammad, 47, Surah Muhammad, starting onwards. So thank you so much, Jazakallah khair, Imam Fawad al-Qassas, for reciting for us as regard the enunciation, the pronunciation, and the Quran that you do. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you and your parents, please. Our honored guest, our Imam, my Imam Muhammad Shibli, is going to translate that thing 402 times. So thank you again, my Imam, for making time out to do the translation and tafsir. You really enlighten us with your knowledge, with your, your deep, conviction of doing the dawah itself. Jazakallah khair. As regard the timeline goes, 7:45 to 8 o'clock. There's a 15 minutes time period, which we shall do the recitation and the translation itself. And from 8 to 8:30, which is a 30-minute session again, is the speaker time. And from 8:30 to 8:42, which is a 12-minute session, which will be answered and questioned for that. And there is a 3-minute session, the last one, from 8:42 to 8:45 will be your dua and closure. Jazakallah khair. The floor belongs to Imam Muhammad, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الذين كفروا وصدوا عن سبيل الله أضل أعمالهم. والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وآمنوا بما نزل على محمد محمد
اللهم صل وسلم
الله عليه وسلم وآمنوا بما نزل على محمد وهو الحق من ربهم كفر عنهم سيئاتهم وأصلح بالهم ذلك بأن الذين كفروا اتبعوا الباطل وأن الذين آمنوا اتبعوا الحق من ربهم كذلك يضرب الله للناس أمثالهم فإذا لقيتم الذين كفروا فضرب الرقاب حتى إذا أثخنتموهم فشدوا الوثاق فإما منا بعد وإما فداء حتى تضع الحرب أوزارها ذلك ولو يشاء الله لانتصر منهم ذلك ولو يشاء الله لانتصر منهم ولكن ليبلو بعضكم ببعض والذين قتلوا في سبيل الله فلن يضل أعمالهم سيهديهم ويصلح بالهم ويدخلهم الجنة عرفها لهم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن تنصروا الله ينصركم إن تنصروا الله ينصركم ويثبت أقدامكم والذين كفروا فتعسا لهم وأضل أعمالهم ذلك بأنهم كرهوا ما أنزل الله فأحبط أعمالهم أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فينظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبلهم دمر الله عليهم وللكافرين أمثالها ذلك بأن الله مولى الذين آمنوا ذلك بأن الله مولى الذين آمنوا وأن الكافرين لا مولى لهم صدق الله العظيم.
جزاكم الله فضيلة الشيخ فؤاد، ورحم الله والدينا ووالديكم.
آمين يا رب.
بارك لكم. إن شاء الله في هذا الموسم نكون سويا في
آمين يا رب. آمين يا رب.
إن شاء الله، والمستمع.
آمين يا رب. آمين يا رب.
ولا يحرمنا هذا الأجر إن شاء الله. تفضل. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن سار على هديه إلى يوم الدين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. My dear respected Imam, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, our beloved nephew Ahmad allowed me to greet all of you with the Islamic greeting and say to all of you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Let me say Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Those are the best 5 sentences. We make ourselves busy with them every second in our life to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to consider His greatness, to make istighfar. Then there is no any power will supersede the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that will lead me to say, through the Zoom, we are living with the spirit of the Quran. And subhanallah, every night, at least between 1 verse to 10 verses, 5 verses, 15 verses, depend on the length of the verses. It is give us the good opportunity to be more familiar with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the Quran al-Kareem. And tonight, if I have in the other side of the Zoom, I cannot see anybody except myself now. I'm still using my cell phone. If we have in the other side of the Zoom, one of the Huffaz of Quran al-Kareem, Wasif, the son of Brother Abdul Wahid, inshallah ta'ala, he can say a few words about the project he established related to the Quran Kareem, if he is there, inshallah. Number 2, only 11 verses were recited from Surah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And here I like to go to the name of the surahs of the Quran Kareem, the 114 surah. Many prophets, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honor them by give the surah under their name. We have the family of Imran, the father of Maryam alayhi salam. We have Yusuf, we have Yunus, we have Nuh, we have Ibrahim, we have many surahs named by the name of a prophet or messenger. But tonight is the night of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Include all the Quran Kareem was revealed to him. And the name of the surah is Surah Muhammad. And think a little bit with me, my dear brothers and sisters. Instead, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start talking to us. Who is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? The son of Abdullah, was born in Makkah al-Mukarramah. His father is Abdullah. His mother is Amina. His wife is Khadija. His kids are Kulsum, Ruqayya, and Fatima, and Abdullah al-Qasim. No, none of them is mentioned here. But what Allah mentioned in the beginning of the surah about what the kuffar of Quraysh was doing to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to stop him making the da'wah. For 13 years, Rasulullah was suffering too much from the people of Quraysh. And during the last 10 years, he suffered more because the war was not permissible in the time of Makkah al-Mukarramah. And he used to say to the people of Makkah al-Mukarramah, Sabran ala Yasir fa inna maw'idakum al-Jannah. But when Rasul sallam migrated to Al-Madinah al-Munawwara, anyone was attacking Islam or Muslim or the land of Islam, the Muslimin has the right to defend themselves. But what I am requesting you to do for me as a favor, inshallah, I am not going to take too much, speaking if Wasif is there, but I want you to make another 2 columns as I did tonight and I did it yesterday. 2 columns, one piece of paper. Try to have that with your pencil. If you don't do it in your Excel or your computer, write 1 column. Who are the kuffar? Alladhina kafar. And the other column, write who are the believer. The one who believe in Allah and believe in the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as al-mu'minun. And you will find under those 2 columns, every verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes something not good. I will say not good for them, because they are the one deserve that because they did something wrong. As the kuffar, you will find one thing good about the believer. I will give you a couple examples, inshallah ta'ala. How about the first verse? What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَصَدُّوا عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَضَلَّ أَعْمَالَهُم. There is no need to go more. Wallahi, that will be enough. Why? Because the one who was born as a believer, كُلُّ مَوْلُودٌ يُولَدُ عَلَى الْفِطْرَةِ, then he or she choose not to be a believer, they deserve the name of kafir, because they reject the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What they have been doing to against the Islam, saddu an sabilillah. Anybody like to accept the Islam? Anybody like to declare the Shahada? Anybody like to come to Rasulullah? Anybody want to accept the Islam? They try to push them away, because that's as one of the 2 reasons. The 2 reasons, they deserve to be among ad-dallin. الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَصَدُّوا عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَضَلَّ أَعْمَالَهُم. Then how about the believer? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the believer, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَآمَنُوا بِمَا نُزِّلَ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَهُوَ الْحَقُّ مِنْ رَبِّهِمْ كَفَّرَ عَنْهُمْ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ وَأَصْلَحَ بَالَهُم. Ya subhanallah. What Allah give the believer who accept the Islam, accept the da'wah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they are believer, they are doing all the good a'mal salihat, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them the hidayah to believe what was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu as by name as Muhammad. In the other surah, Allah name is Ahmad. But in this surah, Allah name is Muhammad, to be clear and no doubt about it. And that is the truth. Al-haqqu min rabbihim. That is the truth. Come to them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The result is, my dear brother, is كفر عنهم سيئاتهم, all their mistake, all the guna, all the great sin, all the small sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will delete that from them, inshallah ta'ala, and replace that hasanat. Then they will live in a peace. وَأَصْلَحَ بَالَهُمْ. Here are their two choices. We are living in America. Walhamdulillah, we are very happy with that. It's a great country of the world, leading the entire world on the world, and we have the full freedom to choose. Nobody will stop us if we like to speak about Islam, or maybe to choose the other way, wal-iyazu billah, to be among the non-Muslim, wal-iyazu billah. Finally, my dear brothers and sisters, I am skipping many verses because that is my job and your job to study it, but I will mention one verse. Allah has started by Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, all you who believe, in tansurullaha yansurkum. This verse conditionally, not by our wish, not only by our dua, not only by to say I did this, no. The minute you support the religion of Allah by any means, by good word, by donation, by opening masajid, by giving a good word, by any means you support the Islam, really, in reality, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support that person. And I hope all the brothers and the sisters in the Zoom, all the believers all over the world, all the people serving the message of Islam through school, through masajid, through the Quran, through any means, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, in tansurullaha yansurkum wa yuthabbit aqdamakum. Let me pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability to give help and nasr to the religion of Allah, and inshallah Allah will give us a support and victory in this dunya and the akhirah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه يغفر لكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خير Muhammad. But سؤال إن شاء الله, very short question. You can make it short answer. The word of ويصلح بالهم وسيصلح بالهم. أصلح بالهم ويصلح بالهم. First of all, what is the bal? ما معنى البال? And you know, Egyptian people, they say خلي بالك أو خذ بالك أو ما هو البال وكيف يصلح الله البال?
First of all, Fadil Sheikh Muhammad, let me go to the second verse. سيصلح بالهم in the future. I'm not discussing about the word bal now. أصلح بالهم during the time they were living with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a Sahaba, which means something in the past, something in coming to the future. Now about the bal, it can be the brain, it can be the zihin, it can be the soul, it can be a ruh, which means you will feel you live with very comfortable life, not about the means of the money and the house and the luxury. No, between you and yourself, you will be very comfortable. But what you are doing in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and inshallah in the future, and I would say Allah knows the best, inshallah.
جزاك الله خير ورحم الله والديكم. هلا, what means خلي بالك?
You know, stress-free life. Stress-free life. يعني ما فيش قلق في الحياة. No stress at all.
إن شاء الله. جزاكم الله خير. شكرا.
عفوا.
Maissa.
Allah يعلم too. I'm not.
No, Sister Hala, can you say to Sheikh Muhammad, خد بالك, هيقول لك هاتيه.
تفضلي.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Before you start, Maissa, either you read what is behind you, or I can figure, you know, what is written.
I will move and you can read it.
تركت لرحمة الرحمن تركت لرحمة الرحمن نفسي فما لي دون رحمته رجاء لقد قصرت في عملي طويلا وقد أخطأت والدنيا ابتلاء فإن يغفر بفضل منه أنجو وإلا فالحساب هو الشقاء إلهي والحياء يدب نفسي إذا أدعوك ذنوب الحياء أنا الإنسان في ظلم وعجز وأنت الله تفعل ما تشاء. 1 million dua for the person who write it and may Allah reward you for post it. وجزاك الله.
آمين آمين وإياكم إن شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. I would like to start with the dua. الحمد لله الذي عافانا مما ابتلى به غيرنا وفضلنا على كثيرا من خلقه تفضيلا. Praise is to Allah who has kept us safe from that which has afflicted others and preferred us over many of those whom He has created. As the COVID-19 pandemic enters its second year, many people are experiencing anxiety and depression. The percentage of these people has increased dramatically. As Muslims, we believe that we can deal with whatever life's trouble or disturbing face us because we have a strong belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe in His generous support and that He listens to us when we ask for His help and His shifa. But that does not mean that we don't seek advices and treatments when we need to. And alhamdulillah, in this program, we have been having wonderful speakers that have been giving us many ideas, advices, and support on how to deal with many situations. And today, our wonderful speaker will give us some more advices on how to take care of our mental health in this pandemic. Our speaker is from New York. She is a licensed mental health counselor. She has a Master of Education in Psychological Counseling from Teachers College, Columbia University. Her area of expertise includes depression and anxiety, stress management, cognitive behavioral, and dialectical behavioral therapy. She currently works at Mount Sinai Hospital in the psychiatric department as a therapist. She also has a private practice where she primarily works with the Muslim children, adults, and families. She has done workshops on various mental health issues at Muslim organizations and community centers. Please welcome with me Sister Bisma Anwar. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Bisma.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you first of all for joining our program and accepting our invitation.
You're welcome. I am really pleased to be here. I always love to speak about mental health, and especially within spaces like this, you know, I think it's really important for us to take care of our mental health, like spiritual health. Like I was feeling like so good being a part of this group and just listening to the recitation. And, you know, just like our spiritual health is so important and doing things to uplift that, such as what you're doing here, talking about our mental health and doing things for our mental health is also really, really important, especially like the sister was mentioning. And, you know, my topic for today is really being able to cope during this time of the pandemic. You know, we have been in this for 1 year now, and our lives have changed completely. You know, a lot more people are feeling depressed and are feeling anxious, and there is a lot more stress in our daily lives. We live a lot of times in this fear, right? Which is why we wear a mask and we leave the house, because it's part of it is our fear, and obviously part of it is the guidelines we're being given to keep ourselves safe, as well as keep other people safe. So, you know, given that it's changed our lives and we to the point where we have had to stay in our homes and a lot of times feel isolated. We are not able to see our loved ones that, live farther away. In the beginning of the pandemic, we couldn't even see them if they lived down the street. We had to stay within our homes. So because of this really difficult situation, more and more, people found themselves feeling so lonely and so afraid and so stressed out. And I think, feeling that sense of connectedness through doing things and socializing, even through Zoom, have found to be very helpful for people to still feel like, we might be in our homes, but we're still part of a community. So I think for one of the first things that I tell a lot of people is to do not feel like you are alone. You are not alone. So many people are going through the same thing that you're going through. And that helps us feel more connected and realize that it's not just us that are going through something. Other people are also going through something. And maybe we can talk to each other. Maybe we can help each other. Maybe we can support each other. So it's really important for each of us to first help ourselves. That's one thing, right? We have to realize how we're feeling. We have to help ourselves feel better. And then we can go and help other people. That's also something that's very important when it comes to our mental health. Just like we go to the doctor, when we have some kind of physical illness, a lot of people are, they don't understand, why should we go to therapy? Why should we take some psychiatric medication? Like, why do we need to do this? It's the same thing like going to the doctor when we have some physical illness. So why not with the mental illness? Why can't we go to the doctor then? The people, the professionals who can actually help us with this. And I think part of it is because we don't ask the questions. We make a lot of assumptions about what is therapy or what is, medication when it comes to mental illness. And I think the more we ask questions, the more we talk to people, the more we increase our knowledge about it, it helps. And, right now, more than ever, like the sister was saying, even in terms of the statistics, because people are feeling more depressed and anxious, there is more of a need, but there's also a lot of people who are still not getting help. So, this can build up in a lot of different ways also. Like sometimes we are seeing a lot of negative things on the news, right? When we, a lot of people, they continue to watch the news, even though it's very upsetting sometimes to watch the news because it's something violent, right? This past few weeks, we've seen so many things happen. And that also makes us feel more stressed out about everything, when we look at the world around us. So one of the things I will say to everyone is to also like check in with yourself. If you feel like you're watching too much news or you're talking too much about what's happening in the world with people around you, it gets very upsetting. So we need to also then be able to take a break for ourselves. Again, right? We're doing this for our mental health. And it doesn't mean that we don't care. It means that we do care, but we also have to care about ourselves on a day-to-day basis, right? And, there's been some things that we can do to help other communities that are suffering. And those are things that we can look into as well. That's another way of thinking about it, rather than being, just sort of thinking about what's happening, actually to be able to do something, whether it's donating some money or donating time, or just talking to people who might be going through something, based on like violence or racism or discrimination. Because over this past year, we've not just seen the pandemic, we've also seen the elections happening and so many things, other things that are happening in the United States and all over. So, natural disasters. So there's so many things and people have gone through a lot of loss. So if we understand also that, some people have lost their jobs, right? So it's financial stability. Some people have lost, if they went through COVID, then there was a loss of their physical health, right? For some people, it's been a loss of having a routine. The kids feel a loss of not being able to go to school. The college kids feel a loss of not being able to go in person to college. So many people are feeling like their life is now lacking a lot more things that they took for granted. that things that we didn't really even think about, like traveling, right? Those are privileges. Those are privileges that we had. We didn't think of these blessings, right, that we had until they were all taken away from us. And so I think it's, connecting ourselves obviously to the spiritual side, right? And also realizing that there are things we can do to help ourselves cope, and these are small things that we can do on a day-to-day basis that can help us feel a little bit better. And that's what I urge everyone to think about, is to have the awareness of how we're feeling. And if we start to feel worse, if we start to have more negative thoughts, sometimes we find that no matter what is happening in our life, our thoughts become very negative. We think negatively about ourselves, about other people, about situations. We become hopeless. We feel like, oh no, nothing good is happening right now. I don't know how things are going to look. And we feel very sad about the future. We feel like there's nothing to look forward to. I know, especially right now with the pandemic, people are losing hope and feeling very frustrated. But once you start to feel that way, being able to then understand that there are some things that are in our control and there are some things that are not in our control, right? What's happening in the world, we don't have control over that. What we have control over is ourselves and our reactions to what is happening. Can we make a change for ourselves and for the people that are around us, for our loved ones, for our family and our friends? Yes, we can make a difference in their lives. We can make a difference in our lives. We obviously can't make a difference in the bigger scheme of things, but in our own small world and space, if we can make a little bit of a difference for ourselves and others, then it helps us feel good. That brings us to that point of feeling hopeful, right? So I was mentioning earlier, this sense of community, right? And being part of a community when it comes to mental health. Another thing that is also really important that I think people don't realize the connection, that when we talk so much about physical health, we talk about sleeping habits and eating habits. These two things actually have a lot to do with mental health as well. And I know that during this pandemic, a lot of people have talked about not getting enough sleep or having very troubled sleep. These are things that also cause mental health issues as well. Same thing with eating habits. People feel like they don't have a sense of routine anymore. You're working from home, or, you're the kids are half the time they're at home, half the time they're at school. You might be a caretaker for someone else. So there's so many changes happening in your routine and whoever you're responsible for in the home, whether it's someone else or just yourself. So having a daily routine and a schedule is very helpful. Being able to continue to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time the next day, being able to, do some meditation, some deep breathing, which I think, for a lot of times can be incorporated into even when we pray, we can actually sort of think of that as a form of meditation too. And we can, maybe when we're making dua, we can take a few deep breaths, to help ourselves feel calm. So those are certain things that we can start thinking about to incorporate into our routine. And then being able to focus on, another thing that a lot of people have talked about is gaining weight during the pandemic, right? Everybody, I don't know, I don't think I've met any one person who said that they didn't gain weight. Every single person I know has said, I've gained weight in this pandemic. Yes, we've all, because you stay home, what do? There's no movement, you're not active, you're not doing much. And so the food is very easy, right? It's just very easy to grab those snacks, everything is accessible. So that's okay, right? That's okay that we're dealing with this. But then we have to, start thinking, bring ourselves now to this mindset of, all right, we've gained the weight, it's been a year, now let's get back on track a little bit, right? The weather is getting nicer. Inshallah, it will continue. I know it's very unpredictable with New York and New Jersey. Our weather is very up and down. But, if it's a nice day, go outside, go for a walk, maybe take a neighbor or a family member or somebody with you and just go for a walk and take in, the nice air and the breeze and just have some movement, move a little bit more, and try to regulate your eating habits into more of a routine. Like I said, the schedule is very important. So with the schedule, then think about eating in a scheduled way as well. Even if it's accessible, it doesn't mean that we have to partake in it, right? We can leave that. We can do something instead. Sometimes I think with food, we are not necessarily always hungry, but it's like that snacking thing that, you're bored, you're sitting in front of the TV or you're doing something mindless and you just eat, you put it in your mouth. Trying to distract yourself in that moment, drink a glass of water instead, or call someone, talk to someone, do some other activity immediately. And then you'll notice actually that you won't have that urge to grab a snack anymore. It passes. It's very much like an urge, and it's a very behavioral thing. Unless we're actually hungry, a lot of times it's mostly just our behavior. And I think like starting to modify the behavior and starting to think about, what is it that we actually need, and being just able to eat that and then being able to do things. So, if you can do some other form of exercise other than walking, I know a lot of places, a lot of people like to go to the gym, and a lot of gyms are closed. Some are opening. I mean, that's a personal choice. I also feel like you need to be safe first and then see whether or not you need to go to the gym, because other than that, there's many resources, there's so many YouTube videos for working out and exercising, following those along based on whatever it is that you want to do. If you have, maybe like a treadmill or a bike or something at home, that you be able to use that. And that's why I started with the walking, because that's 2 in 1. You get to walk, you get to move, and then you also get to be outside. So it's a nice combination. It's a nice habit. Nighttime is a little bit, we have a little bit more daylight right now. So that's also like just a very pleasant way of, being able to keep ourselves going. Another thing that I like to think about is, this sense of having gratitude, of being able to think about what are the things in my life that I am thankful for. And because a lot of times it's very easy for us to think about what is the negative or what is my life missing, right? Oftentimes that's where our mind goes. Oh, I wish I had this. Oh, I wish I had that. Or I wish this happened. That makes us forget what do we actually have that we can appreciate, and we can be happy with what we do have, and we appreciate it and we're thankful for it. And we, really understand that this is something that is a blessing for us, and that we should appreciate it. So I think that gratitude is also very important, because it helps us feel a sense of strength, within ourselves, rather than thinking that there's something missing, right, from our lives. Another thing is, I also ask people, like, what is a hobby or what is something that you enjoy doing? And, a lot of times people will be like, my life is so busy. I don't have time to do anything fun. I like, when I was younger, when I was a kid, maybe I did some art. I used to like to color or paint. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, I used to play board games, or I used to do word puzzles. I used to read, I want you all to think about, what was that thing that you love to do? What was that fun activity that you say, like, I don't have time for anymore, but you do. You can make time for it, because, we need to make time for those things that make us feel good. We need to have more of those things in our life. There's so much that is negative now that has become part of our lives. And, this sense of, we live in this, society that's always like, you have to be active, you have to be doing something all the time. Your productivity is measured by like how many hours a day you're working, or you're constantly doing something. So there's this no sense of like the relaxation, that's not really talked about, and it's not really encouraged either for us to be able to relax. If you actually look at a lot of other countries like European and Asian countries, there's a relaxation. It's like built into the routine, like some places in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, they have the afternoon nap, right? They have that little time where everybody, sort of goes back home and they take a nap and they rest. And then, then you start again. So, but in our, society, we don't do that. People don't expect to do that. And it's this constant need of in and out and multitasking. All these things actually add to our anxiety. If you've noticed, it just makes you're doing one thing, but you're thinking about the 10 other things you need to do after, And with that, what happens? Your quality of life is actually not improving. It's actually going down because you're never able to stay in the moment. You're never able to appreciate anything. Whatever happens, good or bad, it's like you're on a, you're like a mouse on the wheel, right? You just keep going and going. And that stresses us out, and that brings up so much anxiety. And for that, we also need to start to think about what are some things we can let go? What are some things that we maybe don't need to do that we do, right? Maybe there's some commitments that we've made, which I understand, we all want to, make commitments to other people. We all take on things that we want to do for other people, and that's good. But are you saying yes to everything because you are afraid to say no? Because I know a lot of people are they don't want to say no to anybody. But I want to say there are some times where you should be able to say no. If you're feeling really stressed out, or if you have so much on your plate already, you can let the other person know that, I want to help and I want to be there for you. And can I do it instead of right now? Can I do it maybe later? We sort of get too much into this wanting to be there and then, overexerting ourselves, right? We overcommit ourselves. And that is, coming back to that sense of community where we all actually help each other and not put too much burden on one person, right? If there's certain responsibilities that need to be taken care of, we should be able to ask other people for help without, feeling like we are burdening someone. And at the same time, I think for us too, if somebody else is, we're seeing that they're being burdened with a lot of things, maybe we can go up to them and be like, hey, can I do anything to help you? Or you seem really stressed out. Is there anything that I can help you with? Sometimes all we can do is listen to someone. Sometimes people just need someone to hear them, and nothing else. They just need someone to talk to. And that is a really, great thing that we can give to each other. And I think for some people, I will also say that, maybe it helps to actually see a professional. If you feel like you're, let's say that when you feel depressed or when you feel anxious, you feel like you can't really take care of your daily responsibilities. These things are getting in the way of you functioning on a day-to-day basis and taking care of the things you need to take care of. That's when it's a more serious problem. If you're able to still manage these things and still get through your day, take care of your responsibilities, and maybe some days are not so great, but some days are okay, then you're able to manage. But if not, then you want to think about, maybe it's time that I went to someone to get help. And there's no shame in that. We're so stigmatized with the mental health. And I understand that it's going to take some time for people to be more open to the idea. But I definitely think that there's a lot of benefit for each and every one of us in being able to talk about our thoughts and feelings, and being able to actually work on how do we cope better with whatever we're going through. Because life is always going to be stressful, right? There's always going to be something that is stressing us out, right? One week it's one thing, but next week it's another thing, right? There's always going to be something. So it's very important that throughout these times of stress, we are doing things to manage ourselves so that the stress doesn't manage us. So that's something that I feel like is really important. And I just want to do a time check. I'm not sure how much time I have left. but I wanted to leave time for questions.
Jazakallah, sister. Yes, welcome, by the way.
Yes.
We're glad to
thank
have
you.
you.
Yes.
You have a couple of minutes, inshallah. We have 3 people that are willing to ask a question or make a comment. So if you like, it's up to you. If we can go to the Q&A
Sure.
portion.
Yeah, I think let's do that because a lot of times, a lot of things come up with the questions. So I want to give them some time. Yeah.
Okay, so in the order that I see, we have 4 people. Brother Abdul Majid is first. Sister Hala is after Brother Abdul Majid. Imam Hamad, unfortunately, you're third, Imam Hamad. And then we have Brother Agha. Okay, Sister Hala, you're on. Yes, you're on mute.
I thought Brother Abdul Majid was first.
Would you like
No,
it?
no, no. I yield my time to you, Sister Hala.
Well, how about Ibn Hamad first because he has the prayer.
Okay, he has the prayer. Imam Hamad, you've been nominated to go first.
Okay, I am going back to my brother Imam Muhammad Shibli and to the question he asked about it. I went to the library, I get the book, I read the meaning. فضيلة الشيخ محمد كلمة أصلح بالهم لها 3 معاني. المعنى الأول أمرهم، والمعنى الثاني حالهم، والمعنى الثالث شأنهم. The word بالهم, when I said yes, your brain, and Sister Hala said no stress, that is the true meaning. But the tafsir, they give us 3 different meanings, but all of them have the same meaning. Amrahum, which means all their activities. Amr. Eating, drinking, sleeping is Amr, yes. Halahum, their situation, which means, as our speaker Jazakallah Khair said, you are not going to fix the problem between this country and that country. Fix the problem between you and your right first. That's easy. And the other one is sha'nahum, which means the sha'an cover you from the top to the bottom. This is aslaha balahum. And that will lead me to say, sister, please, I need maybe 1 or 2 names of the medication, not for the, you said the body. My hand is broken, I have medication. But if my spirit is broken, I get angry very, very, very fast. I cannot talk to 5 Muslims if they pray behind me and I want to give one of them 2 minutes, I give the other 2 seconds, and the other person, I talk to more. Is any medication from the shelf will reduce our anger, make us cool, not to be, stressed too much without going to the doctor, or we have to go to the doctor, open our heart for 2 hours, and then you give us the medication and we have to pay for it, inshallah. What is the medication we can buy from the shelf just to reduce our stress, inshallah? Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you for the question. So one thing I will start with, I am not the expert on medication. That would be a psychiatrist. But I will tell you actually what I do know about for anger. There's some good tips. And what these tips do is that they actually help you change your body temperature. And they actually slow down your heart rate. They help you cool down. And this is using cold water or ice. And what you do is that you take the ice and you can hold it in your hand, right? And you could press it against your face, okay? And you can use an ice pack or ice, either one. But the idea is that the coolness will actually help your heart calm down. And then your anger will go down in that moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. That's the free ice.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Jazakallah khair.
Maharaj, please just give me 1 second. I want to thank Sheikh Hamad about his response to my answer. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Hamad, to my question. Inshallah, maybe we can talk about this أصلح بالهم more next time. Inshallah, very important. Also, I like to say to Sister Basma or Bisma or Jazakallah khair, sister, why most of the sister before they married, they are very shy to say no, but after they married, they are very shy to say yes. Why that?
It could be that their husband gives them more confidence. That could be something, right? That they feel more confident and they feel like, they feel happy, and I think it's a good sign, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have Sister Hala.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Sister Bisma. That is a wonderful presentation. I have a question. Sometimes people misunderstand when you talk about your feelings. They think that you're not thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you're talking about your true feelings. And sometimes they say the wrong things that make you upside down. People are not mindful on what could be happening to that person. It could be a chemical imbalance, for example.
Yes.
Not just because they're feeling melancholy, but it could be other things. And all you want, you're right, you want somebody just to listen to what you're saying. But a lot of people have to say, like they feel obligated to comment or say different things. And we want the people to know you're not doing anything wrong, you're not doing something wrong with your worshiping or whatever, because a lot of people think that if you have issues of those feelings, that you're not close to Allah. Can you, what do you think?
No, definitely. I've heard this a lot too. And unfortunately, we make this connection. And I want to bring it back to that question of like, when it comes to our physical health, right? And let's say someone like sprains their ankle, we won't say to them, oh, maybe you weren't praying enough, so you sprained your ankle, right? But it's this idea that we have when it comes to mental illness that, we don't have enough gratitude, or we didn't pray enough. And I think that's why I bring this thing of community in, right? Is that we need to have more open dialogue, and we need to make it okay for people to say that, I'm feeling this way. Because I feel like, as a community, we have a responsibility to help each other and to not say something that will actually hurt the other person. And like you said, for a lot of people, it's a chemical imbalance. It's not something, mental illness is not like they're choosing to feel this way, right? It is something that happens to them. And so people don't take it seriously. They're like, oh, if you start praying 5 times a day, you'll be fine. Make this dua, you'll be okay. Yes, make the dua, pray. But along with that, also, get your treatment, do what you need to do. Because again, you wouldn't tell a person who has a physical illness that just prayer is going to help them, right? There is a need to get professional help at times, especially for the people that are suffering. So I think you're right, like that sense of us, all of us being mindful of each other, and being more careful about what we say to someone when they share their suffering with us. Maybe that's why I said to listen, because you know what, rather than saying anything, maybe it's just better to listen and actually just hear what the person is saying. They're usually not looking for advice. They're usually just looking for someone to understand. And I think that's something that, can be very invaluable for someone.
Jazakallah khair for that awareness. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sister Hala. Brother Abdul Majid, then Brother Agha.
Jazakallah khair. Very, very good presentation. Meantime, I went to your website.
Oh.
And, you quoted Carl Rogers. A good life is a process, not a state of being.
Mhm.
It's a direction, not a destination. That's correct. Can you just kindly explain that? Why did you put, your website? What did?
Sure. Yes, that's my Instagram, and sometimes I like to share famous quotes. And I think when we talk about like the process and the journey, and as opposed to the destination, we have to, I think, realize like we all have a goal, right? We all have something that we're working towards. We all have something things that are important to us, right? There are certain things that are more important to us than others. And I think for each of us to actually realize what is it that we need, right? Like what is a good life for us? What does a good life mean? Because what a good life means for you that's not what a good life means for me. So for each of us, we have to realize that it's a process, it's a path, it's our path, it's our direction, it's the way that we're moving. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's just one moment in time, right? Like the state of being is just that one moment. It's not defining a moment, it's not the end for us. It's not the destination for us, but it's the constant state of us moving towards our good life, taking steps today for our good life, not saying like, oh, that's going to happen, 10 years from now when I have everything on my list, I have the house, the car, the everything, check off the boxes, right? But no, what am I doing to get to where I want to be? So appreciating each day, right? Gratitude, like all those things. So does that?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Jazakallah Khair. I mean, your Instagram thing. It's just like a follow-up question on some of the sticks you already posted on your Instagram and other stuff, right? I went through all of them.
Oh, thank you.
The only thing when I could not understand, couldn't figure out what, you have any tips to improve sleep?
Oh,
you quoted 4 of them, and I can read for you. Yoga.
Yeah.
Drink tea.
Mm-hmm.
And what is do meditation, right? Guided meditation, right?
Yes.
And there is a very important thing which I think you put it, put down your goddamn phone, right? That is a correct statement. Can you emphasize on the last one? You put down your phone.
Yes. So that's, meaning like take a break from technology, right? And give yourself, they actually recommend that you don't get on your phone for the last like hour and a half before you go to bed. But I know that for many people, even myself, that's not possible, right? Let's be realistic. So I tell people half an hour, give yourself half an hour before bed, winding down, but don't look at the phone, because obviously then, the light from the phone is also like something that, sort of gives our brain these signals of like, wakefulness, right? If you've ever had this moment of in the middle of the night, your phone, buzzed or something like that, if you picked it up, right, you're gone. If that light flashes in your face, then you're going to have a hard time going back to sleep, possibly. So that's what I mean when I say like, put down the phone, put it away, put it aside.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair. I think I yield my time to other people who have questions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Brother Agha, and then Sister Nasreen finally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Miraj. Congratulations to sister. It was a very nice presentation, because the issue you already discussed is a very sensitive issue for everyone. My first question is with you. The mental health counseling is important, and if it is important, what are the benefits, and what is the origin of the mental health illness? That is my question. The second thing is, I would like to ask you about mental health awareness and assessment. Can you give me the sources? And the third and last part of my question is strategy and the future attempt to reduce stigmatization and increase the awareness of the mental health problem among the young people. Can you comment on that thing?
Sure. I'll start with your third one and then I'll work my way back. So, of course. So for young people, you know, a lot of the workshops that I do, I also talk a lot with, you know, young people, the teenagers, the preteens, you know, work as a family. So parents actually have a lot to do with the young kids, you know, and usually they can work together, you know, because parents are a big source of support for the young kids. And if they are going through something, then they should be able to share it with their parents. You know, and that I think has to do with the whole thing about like mental health and the awareness piece, right? The more that we talk about this, or as parents talk about it with their children, you know, sometimes people feel like, you know, maybe the kids are making excuses to get out of their homework and things like that. So I think, you know, we need to take it more seriously and maybe talk to the teachers in the school, right? One of the first indicators for kids not doing well in school can mean that there's something going on with their mental health, possibly. So there's, you know, a lot of people that are involved when it comes to taking care of the mental health for kids and even for teenagers. And the more that I think that the more that adults realize this, and the more that we have conversations, even in like a family setting, you know, you ask your kids, like, you know, how was your day? How are you feeling? They should ask you, you know, and then you have a conversation. If somebody says, you know, I felt sad today, or I felt frustrated today, or I felt, you know, anxious today, and then talk about like, what does that mean? You know, and what happened because you were feeling that way? How did that impact your life, or how did that impact your day? So I think, you know, talking about it more within a family setting can help for the young people as well. So, and then your second question, if you could just remind me the second question that you asked.
Assessment.
Yeah, the second question is, yeah, let me repeat that.
Sure.
Yeah, the second question is mental health awareness and assessment.
Mhm.
Can we find the sources?
So with assessment, a lot of times now, because of this, you know, the mental health being more recognized, even when you go to the doctor, you'll realize when you go to your primary care doctor for your for your health checkup, yearly checkup or something, they ask you about this. They do a screening. Actually, they have a screening now for depression and for anxiety. So they are doing these assessments. And if you, you know, if there's certain things that if they're going on with you physically, right, with people that are complaining about not being able to sleep, or people that are talking about weight gain, or people that are talking about like body pain, they will often ask these questions, and then they'll go through an assessment. So you don't necessarily have to go to a therapist to actually get one of these assessments done. And doctors are doing them now too.
Okay, thank you very much. And the first question, come back to the first question. Mental health counseling is important. If it is important, so what are the benefits? And in addition to that, what is the major cause of the mental health problem? You know, the illness,
right?
The problem. I just need to know that.
Sure.
I have to interrupt. I'm sorry. I want to do a time check.
Okay.
We are at 8:52. I don't want you to. I think this warrants another session, unfortunately, but inshallah, we look forward for that, because we are always looking for such wisdom from our guest speakers as you are tonight. So if you please don't mind us, Brother Agabak, we have a time check.
No,
I don't know with Sister Nasreen question, maybe I want to give her the, if you don't mind, I want to give her the opportunity, because you took 3 questions. So I want to give her at least one question.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Very nice present.
Thank you.
Nice topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sister Nasreen, are you there? You have your hand raised, Sister Nasreen. Okay. I guess then maybe she stepped away, inshallah.
Mm.
Imam, you have a comment? You open your video.
Are you done?
I am done. It's your turn.
Okay, I want to thank Sister Bisma or Basma?
It's Bisma.
Bisma, mashallah. What means Bisma?
So it means smile. Yes. And I know that in the Arabic, it's more Basma. And, because my family's from Pakistan, they say Bisma. So it's spelled with an I instead of an A.
Same, right?
Huh?
Same meaning, Basma.
Yeah.
Like
Yes, same meaning. Just the pronunciation and spelling.
we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put the Basma on your face all the time, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
I don't want to ask you a private question, but Sister Basma, thank you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you more knowledge, but really, really, we need you. Not we want you, we need you. Inshallah, for I think Brother Ma'raj, he can contact you to make new schedule, inshallah. Inshallah, we want you to answer the question of Brother Agha.
Yes, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ma'raj, Maissa. Maissa.
Yes, I think you said to give the chance to Brother Agha so he can.
No. That's another session.
Mm.
Brother Agha asked very loaded questions.
Not
There are alone single halaqah for every question he asks.
MashaAllah. Well, thank you so much, Sister Bisma. And I hope again to see you soon, inshallah, in our program.
Thank you. It's very, very nice to meet all of you. Had a really great time talking to all of you. Thank you so much.
If you can make us dua, please.
Sister Nasreen, I'm going to have to mute you. I'm sorry. I tried to contact you, but you were on mute. So we're going to be closing this session, Sister Nasreen.
Hello.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, I'm Ejaz Khan. Nasreen is my wife.
Yes, Mr. Khan.
Yeah, we have a question that if the children are big, the age is between 40 and 45, and they are having some mental problem and they don't want to listen. And if we commit them, then because they are adult, they can refuse the treatment and come out from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then people talk about that they have to meet the rock bottom, then they will improve. So what is the rock bottom like? Is it true that rock bottom will correct them and will give them lesson? Because children are blaming, to the parents that we did not do the good brought up. Even though we tried our level best to give them Islamic culture and Deen and Dunya, all good education, we tried our level best. So what's your answer for this?
Sure. Absolutely. I think as parents, everybody tries their level best to help their children, to give them everything. And, and I think as parents, we oftentimes we take the blame for whatever is going on with the children. But I think we also have to realize that, when they're adults and grown up, they live their own life and they make their own mistakes, which aren't, which cannot just be blamed on the parents, right? When the kids are young, yes, then you can maybe blame the parents or think of the influence of the parents because the kids are young. But when you have an adult, they are responsible for their own decision making. And I know that it hurts when they're not listening to you and you know what's best for them, but they're not in a place to hear it. Like you said, even if you take them to get treatment, they can leave. And it's not about hitting rock bottom, but I think it's also continuing to then talk to them and don't let them go. Don't let them disappear. Don't alienate them. Don't be angry with them. You know, try to keep that communication open and keep talking to them that, you know, we want what's best for you. We want to help you. We want you to feel better. Maybe you can have them talk to someone that they respect. Maybe a mentor or someone in the community. You know, you can take them and you can be like, you know, this is someone very knowledgeable. You know, let's talk to them about your problem, your issue. Maybe we can come to a solution. So let them know they're not alone, that you are there for them and you love them no matter what. No matter what mistake they might make, no matter what wrong decision they make. Let them know that you love them and you're there for them and you want to help them. And I think that in some way that is going to stay with them. That message will be there. And inshallah, I hope that in your case that also happens and that, you know, you're able to actually get them the help that they need, inshallah. But I can understand that this is a very, very difficult situation to be in. Yeah.
I appreciate you gave such a detailed and good answer. You know, may Allah bless you for this thing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jazakallah. Sister Maissa.
Yes, I was going to ask Sister Basma if she can end the meeting with a dua.
Yes,
my
it's
gosh.
customary. A small dua, even if it's a short dua,
Oh my gosh.
even if it's in English, even if it's in Japanese, a dua is customary for every speaker.
Oh wow, this is the pressure, but
No, this is the podium for you.
this is the podium.
Inshallah, you'll be fine. Just make what's in your heart.
Make what's in my heart. All right, so I think for me, it's my go-to is English. So I will say that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us in physical health and mental health and emotional health, and make us support for our loved ones, and make us a place of warmth and understanding and consideration for other people, and allow us to also serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do what we do for him, to help each other, and no matter what we do, to always appreciate our blessings, and also turn to him when we have a problem, and also ask for his forgiveness if we have sinned, because he is all forgiving.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Ameen. Ameen.
Ameen, Sister Bisma. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Sister Maissa. You can do the honors of closing.
Jazakallah khairan, and thank you everyone. We can end up with Surah Al-Asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat wa tawasaw bil-haqqi wa tawasaw bis-sabr. Assalamu alaikum.
Raj, Jazakallah, just one word. Sister Basma, the topic, what you talk about it, exactly in the Surah of Muhammad, what the Sheikh was recited today. And that by 2 words, that what I asked Sheikh Hamad about it, and he answered me in your time, وَأَصْلَحَ بَالَهُمْ. وَأَصْلَحَ بَالَهُمْ. And I hope all of us, we include this word in our dua when we say, رَبَّنَا أَصْلِحْ لَنَا بَالَنَا. رَبَّنَا أَصْلِحْ لَنَا بَالَنَا. That means better than yoga, better than walking, better than if Allah that means you are complete. Inshallah, you don't need anything else. Jazakallah, sister. And please, if you have time, read this sentence. Maybe that you can compare what you study in psychology and what you study in the Quran, inshallah. Shukran. And we are waiting for next lecture, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Give love to Ahmad. We have our brother Ahmad. He not speak, he not here. We give him this sign of language love. We give it to everybody, inshallah. Shukran, Sister Basma.